What's up, everybody? You're here with the Fly Guy. Moving to the Philippines was one of the biggest decisions I ever have made in my life. I had this expectation that life would be just a little bit lighter here, a little bit less demanding. And I had that expectation up front. I kind of knew that going into this move, but I didn't expect the way that it would present itself. And that's why I'm making this video. I can honestly say that my time here in the Philippines so far has taught me a few things, and the way that life has become lighter here was a little surprising to me. Life is slowed down here, and it's not in like a lazy way. It's just things are a little bit more calm. People are just chill and laid back. Things aren't hustle and bustle and going 100 miles an hour 24/7, working tons of overtime, just trying to make ends meet. I mean, it's not just a grind until you're dead. That's not how it is over here. And, I noticed that right away. And that was something that I actually didn't expect. I had been so sucked into the go, go, go of the United States. And, if you're not working 65 hours a week and two jobs and, doing all this just to make it, you're lazy, which is so irritating. It's not even normal. It's not healthy. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to from the United States that just want to breathe. They want to have time with their families. They don't want to have to work multiple jobs just to be able to put food on the table. That's not the signs of a healthy system. And while the opposite is not healthy either, what I'm more getting at is that there needs to be balance. And my life, my family's life, it was not balanced in the United States. And having to work that much just to say that I had a house and a car and all the things that came with the traditional markers of what society deems as success, it wasn't worth it to me. And that's why I came over here in the first place. And life has been a lot lighter. I sold my house. I sold my car. I got rid of all the things that I thought I needed. And, I'm not saying I'm not going to get a car or I'm not going to have transportation here in the Philippines, but I didn't need what I had in the United States to be on the right trajectory, to be on the right path. And now that I'm here, I think I had to tear my Achilles tendon to slow down. If I want to be really honest, peace for me didn't really hit until after I came through almost the entire healing cycle from my Achilles tendon injury. I tore my Achilles tendon 2 weeks into the move here. And, just the time that it took for me to maybe slow down and rest, what little I did rest, during that time, oh my gosh. I mean, I was just never at peace. I was never at rest. I still had that go, go, go. I've got to do this. I've got to do this mentality. And I pushed myself to exhaustion. And, being in front of a computer screen and working 24/7 and, trying to move to a foreign country and get married and, try to get set up in the province and then move to the city, it just takes it out of you. I mean, moving is difficult no matter where you're at. And finally, after getting settled here in Iloilo, getting through most of the healing process with my Achilles tendon, slowly getting back into an exercise routine, and getting my work really consistent now, consistently starting to work. I'm currently tutoring English, and just getting into a rhythm. I'm finally starting to be at peace. And that peace hit in a different way. I never really had peace in the US. Even, I'd find peace on the water. I would find peace and solitude, getting into a creek and fly fishing for some smallmouth or some carp. But I never really truly had peace. I was never level. I was always off to the next challenge or off to the next bill or off to the next job. And I was just running myself into the ground. And now I'm just in a totally different place, and I'm truly thankful. I'm blessed. And my time here, it hasn't been perfect. It's definitely had some challenges. I've faced some unique challenges since I've been here. I think some challenges that a lot of people might not have faced. Some people come here and it's smooth sailing. They don't experience a bunch of setbacks. I myself, I've faced some of those setbacks since I've been here. The United States is schedules, and everything's rushed. Things are expensive. People aren't connected like they used to be. We see things through a screen. Not knocking YouTube, but you know comparing it to the Philippines here, I know my neighbors. I talk to my neighbors. It's not disconnected and looking at each other from across the street and maybe a casual wave and no speaking. That's what I see in a lot of US communities nowadays. People just don't talk to one another. We're not connected like we used to be. And if you really follow what's going on, it's kind of by design. There's a pressure in the United States to be successful by how many possessions you have, things that matter, having nice cars, having the job, the title, the house in the community that says you've made it, whatever that means. It's just a lot of stuff. And I never subscribed to it when I was younger, and it became increasingly irritating the older I became. And I realized that, if I don't want that, why am I sitting here in a system that is not going to bring me peace? I'm never going to be satisfied in a place that's set up that way. And I understand that the place doesn't make it, right? It's a mindset. But I was in an environment that I didn't want to be. And I wanted that peace to be able to slow down and actually commit to building what I wanted to build. And I've been able to, work on my fly tying projects, my website, my business. That's the blessing of having freedom and having time freedom, is being able to work on the things that are important to me, like my fly tying. I mean, I would go so long in between tying sessions in the United States in the past year just because I had to work. And I understand that with life comes responsibilities, but with all the things that I was doing and trying to accomplish, and trying to turn over basically a new leaf and create a new life for myself here in the Philippines, I had to sacrifice some time there so I could have it here. Now that I'm through my Achilles tendon injury, and I'm getting into a routine, I'm able to work on my channel, work on my website. I have done so many updates to my website, and I'm getting it to a place where I'm finally comfortable with it and where I want it to be moving forward into the future. So here in the Philippines, what I love is that, I can take time if I need it. I'm getting to know my neighbors. They're all kind. They're all respectful. I haven't met a neighbor yet in my direct area that's been rude, standoffish, uh, just has an attitude for no reason other than the fact that they can. There's a business down below my apartment, and the business had its employees out on New Year's Eve, and they had like a New Year's Eve Christmas kind of joint party. And I've only talked to them a few times, and they invited me down for drinks and dinner, and they let me eat their food and spend time with them and hang out, and they were just kind and welcoming. And very few times, if any, have I really had that in the United States with people that I'm not really close with or that I don't know. Because life is not about building things, but it's building relationships. And even though that I might be talking about building a website and building a channel and, being able to work on fly tying projects, with which, if you think about it, are things themselves, what I'm really wanting to do is build relationships with other fly anglers, fly tyers, and people who value the sport for what it is. And, you know, I love the sport of fly fishing and how much it's enriched my life and how it's helped me during some really dark times. And I know there's other people out there that have experienced the same thing with fly fishing and fly tying. And those are the people that I want to develop relationships with and connect with through this channel, through my website, and through teaching. I never thought that I would be living outside of the United States. And I never thought that it would be the Philippines. But here I am, and I'm rolling with it. And, you know, it's been a rough start, but I love what I have here. And I'm thankful for it. And I know that there are people that have, you know, obviously come before me. There's plenty of people that have, you know, left the United States. They live in other countries now. One of my friends lives in Japan. I've got another friend over in Thailand, one that's potentially heading down to Nicaragua. You know, I've got, you know, so many people that I know now, after I've made this decision to move over here, have reached out, and they're happy for me, and I'm happy, you know, which it's been a long time since I've been happy. And that has more to say than anything else. So I encourage you that if you're looking to slow down, if you're looking to take a break, if you've been thinking about relocating, not because of the political climate, I don't care about the political climate. My choice to live based on, you know, what I want to do and how I want to move forward has nothing to do with politics. And, you know, so I say the same to you. You know, if you want to see a different part of the world, if you want to maybe give yourself some economic breathing room and leverage, you know, a US dollar against potentially a weaker currency and give yourself some economic breathing room, I encourage you to do the research and take the time and start the process of looking into it, turning over a new leaf and taking a step, taking a leap. This one decision could change your whole entire life. And I can tell you that it did the same for me. So I'm thankful to be here. I've reached a level of peace that I truly have not had for a long time. I never thought that a place would bring me peace. But the place, combined with my wife, my family's support, and the support of my friends, and also, you know, my subscribers, have had some wonderful people reach out to me and just share some kind things with me, some good words, some encouragement. I've been so thankful for the support that I've received. And this isn't the end. You know, I'm not going to be in the Philippines for the rest of my life. It's not going to be a 24/7, 365. My wife and I are planning on splitting our time between the United States and the Philippines, but for right now, I'm here, and I'm going to make the best of it, and I can't wait to share more with you as time goes on. If this video resonated with you, or you might have moved overseas and now you're an expat too, leave me a comment below and let me know about your experience. If you like this video, go ahead and hit thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more Philippines and travel videos. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care, and we'll catch you next time.